When asparagus are thick, tight, with tight head like this, I love to use asparagus, especially at the first course. And I'm here with my friend David Shalleck. You know, he's a chef, he's an author, and he's also in charge of the back kitchens here, so that's very important. And that little stew of asparagus I made for you.
Wow, well, thank you so much. Looks beautiful. How'd you make it?
This is how I made it. Choose tight-headed asparagus. See, this one is really tight, whereas this one is already starting to open, and it's past its best. To ensure that it's tender and that you can eat the whole thing, it's good to peel the stem with a vegetable peeler. Hold the peeler this way and not with your finger underneath where they will get in the way. The peel falls back like a flower. Hold the end and break it like this. Cut the spears into 2-inch pieces and add it to a pan with half a cup of boiling water. Season with salt and freshly ground black pepper. Cover and cook for about 2 minutes. When the asparagus is tender and can easily be peeled with a knife, squeeze in a little bit of lemon juice. Add a couple of tablespoons of butter and add a drizzle of olive oil and bring the whole thing to a rolling boil. This will help to emulsify the butter and oil into a sauce. And there it is, the ragout of asparagus. See, nothing could be simpler. You want to test it?
I would love to. It smells absolutely wonderful.
I'm cooking vegetable today, from easy to elegant. This is essential Pepin.
Essential Pepin is made possible by
KitchenAid, for the way it's made. Proudly celebrating 10 years of Cook for the Cure to support the fight against breast cancer.
and by C. Donatello Winery, producing Pinot Noir and Chardonnay from Sonoma's Russian River Valley. C. Donatello Winery is a proud supporter of Jacques Pepin. And by
OXO Good Grips. OXO, tools you hold on to.
Eating vegetable has never been a problem for me. Probably 80% of what we eat at home is going to be vegetable or salad or fruit and of course potato or things like this. So in fact, everything that I like, I call a vegetable. It makes my life easier. So if I have a piece of chocolate cake, I can call it a vegetable. Of course, I'm kidding. But today is vegetable day. We're going to do a zucchini and tomato gratin, like in the south of France, and a cauliflower gratin, just like my mother used to do when I was a kid, with a white sauce on top. Then artichokes art, done with a puree of mushroom inside and glaze. And finally, a corn tempura, you know, that you can serve with a smoked salmon or with caviar or with a lot of stuff. So this is what we're going to do. And we will start with the gratin of zucchini and tomato. So what you do, try to get some firm gratins. Those are pretty firm. A small one. You know, everything always amounts to what's in season, what's the best, and so forth. I can have even longer slice for the center here. You can have zucchini, as I have here, but you can also have eggplant or other type of things, you know, done in there. Nice juicy tomato. I should have close to enough here. So that would be a gratin for, you know, 4 people. Depends what you serve with it, of course. I'm going to put a little bit of dash of salt on top of it. And I'm going to do a topping with Parmesan cheese. I cut the Parmesan cheese in square like this, in dice, because I'm going to put everything in that little wonderful machine. About the same amount of bread that I'll do here. Another way of using your leftover bread, you know. It should be about the same here. Since we are in the south of France, I can put some fresh thyme. In that case here, I have oregano, you know, and oregano is fine. Put it in this. Again, salt in there, pepper. And that will be the topping of the gratin. It's beautiful, easy to do. And what you want to do here, I could put that directly on top here, but what happens when the bread is dry like this? It may tend to burn. So what you do, you put a little bit of olive oil in there, like, you know, a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons maybe, and you toss it together. Now what happened here, the bread is slightly moist. It's not gooey, as you can see, you know, it's not kind of gooey, but it's still, and now it's going to brown beautifully. So in there, I'm putting that here, more of it there. And if I have a little more, if I have a little less, it's not the end of the world. Probably a dash of olive oil extra on top of it here, never hurt. And that's basically it. You want to put that in your oven, like 400 degrees for like 30 minutes, 35 minutes, and it should be great. You can check it out, that's really tender. That's what you want. A zucchini and tomato gratin. And now cauliflowers. I do adore cauliflowers. You can see a head like that, really firm, no black spot on it. So the time of the year to pick it up, you have to look at this. I think it was Mark Twain who said that cauliflowers was nothing but a cabbage with an education. And I think there's something true to this. Now you see what I'm removing here, this, if I were doing a soup at my house today, that would go into the soup, I wouldn't throw it out. We're gonna cook that in boiling water here and do a white sauce to put on top of it. So you want to separate that into flourette like this. You know, some bigger, some smaller, doesn't really matter. Frankly, I like to cook the core as well. I like that core. You know, I cut it in a couple of pieces. We need a good head of cauliflowers. The water is salted. And I want this to be tender, meaning that it has to cook. I would say bring it back to a boil about 5-6 minutes at least. You can do that ahead as well, you know. And we're going to do a white sauce with it. I have a skillet here. I'm putting like 2 tablespoons of, well, maybe 2.5 tablespoons of butter. So the roux is done this way. 3 tablespoons of flour. I mean, it should be leveled. Like this, yes. Okay. I do that with milk. If you do that with water, it's called a bastard sauce. And then you do a mustard sauce with it. So here, your roux is in there. Usually you put your milk cold in the hot roux. You can do the opposite also. It doesn't matter that much. I have like a cup and a half of milk here. And maybe 1/4 cup of cream will be enough. Now this, I could do it all with milk. Some people may do it all with cream. Some may do it with half and half. It's fine. Doesn't really question of taste and richness, of course. I'm putting a little bit of nutmeg in this, that beautiful thing, which is easy to grate with. You don't put too much because the nutmeg is really assertive, you know. You can see that in there. Okay, salt, pepper, and then I go back. Now you can see in the corner here, that's where it's going to start thickening. Basically, as soon as it comes to a boil, it boils 10-15 seconds, that's fine. Okay, let's check this out. Yeah, that's it. This is tender. Use the lid. You can put it in a colander, but perfectly fine this way. Cooked cauliflowers here. Nice big gratin. Try to arrange them so the head more or less are facing up like this. Good. I think I put a bit of salt on top of it. A bit of the Gruyere. This is grated Gruyere, you know. I put some on top here. I have some grated Parmesan cheese as well. And now here is my sauce, still pretty hot. cream sauce. So I want put that on top. With a roast of veal, you know, always a steak or anything like this. Gratin of cauliflower. Terrific. Okay. A bit more Gruyere on top. Or Gruyere or Jalsberg or Emmentaler. And this is it. It is ready to go into the oven. Okay. Right out of the oven is my gratin. As you can see, it's still boiling around. I'll test it, but it's really a little hot to taste, but I have a hot mouth, so it's okay. Just like when I was a kid. Terrific gratin. And now artichokes. When artichokes are in season, I love to work with artichokes. See, I have beautiful artichokes here, and usually when you cook them whole, you cook them all by cutting the tail, and often people throw this out, but I keep that. I just peel it all around because there is a really thick layer on the outside, and then after I cook this, and it's just as tender at the heart, you know. Each time you do that, you have to rub a little bit of lemon juice on top, otherwise it discolors it. And then after you go around, and you have to cut all the end of those leaves here. You have the pricky thing, and you cook them whole to get the whole artichokes as I have here. I even add a piece of lemon on the back of it, attach it so that that stays nice and white. You don't really have to, but this is the old classic way. And I'm going to show you in a minute what to do with this. But first, I wanted to show you how to do the artichoke's bottom. So the first thing that you would do, if you don't know how to do it, I indicate to do it this way. To go all around and get the leaves out this way. Now notice I have a special technique here. It's not that I'm pulling out the leaves. I'm very careful to break it and go down. Break it and go down. And again, because when I do this, you can see the leaves here. It's exactly like when I eat artichokes, you know, you have the artichoke leaf and you eat it. That's all of the heart, I mean, all the flesh here, it stays right there. If I pull it here, here it is. Here is what happened. All that piece here, I should have broken it, because that piece here is the piece of flesh which belong here. Okay, so I go around like this to expose, as you can see, all of the heart. And when you are there straight, you know now that you're not going to cut into the heart, then you can trim it, as I do here. That's it. And if you have, usually you will use a vegetable, a knife like this, but even a vegetable peeler may work around if you're not sure. Again, going all around like that to clean up whatever is left of the green. It is not easy to do an artichoke heart properly, and then I trim the end here. Okay, so this is an artichoke heart, you know. You cut that in half, you cut a piece of lemon, and you rub it with this so that it doesn't discolor, and then we're going to cook it this way. I have 4 cups of water here. I'm going to put salt on top of it, inside rather, pepper, a good tablespoon or so of lemon juice. You can even leave the lemon in it if you want after. And we put in the old style, we used to put a little bit of flour. We call that a blanc, a white, and it keeps them white too. We did that with artichokes and as well as with cauliflowers and all that. Mix that in there. This is cold water. Put that here, bring it to a boil, and it has to boil for about, I would say, 20-25 minutes until it's nice and tender. Now going back to this, when you have your regular artichoke, you serve with a vinaigrette or with something like that. You remove your string here. This has stayed beautifully white, as you can see. And then you can serve it this way, but if you want to be a bit fancier, you kind of open your artichokes a little bit so you can put your finger inside. This has to cook like 45 minutes to be nice and tender. And I pull it, you know, I will pull the whole center of the artichokes here. You can see? Here. And that's eatable too, of course, but what I have done here, I have exposed the choke inside. And with a spoon, a little spoon or with my finger, I can remove the choke here. It just slides off because that artichoke is cooked, you know. Okay, so this is the choke. And then you present your artichokes, you know, this way, with that upside down here. You know, a little sprig of parsley on top. And you have a vinaigrette or a hollandaise sauce. And this is the classic way of presenting the whole artichokes. This is going to come back to a boil, and as I say, cook for a while. So during that time, we're going to do the stuffing of the artichokes, and I'm going to do it with mushroom. So slice mushroom. I'll put a little dash of oil in there. That's it. And I'm going to saute this and flambe it with a little cognac. That recipe is quite elegant. It's a recipe that we used to do, or close to, at the Pavilion in New York when I worked there. Oof. In the end of the 50s, early 60s, you know. So here I'm going to put salt and pepper on top of it. Good. Now those artichokes haven't even come to a boil, so I have some here which done. So I have 6 artichokes here. As you can see here, I have some of different size. In a professional kitchen, you try to get them of all the same size. So I'm going to put them in that gratin dish. Now I can hear my mushroom sizzling. So I will deglaze them with a little bit of cognac. But that gives a wonderful taste to my mushroom here. And I'll put the rest of the cream. I'm going to bring it to a boil. And I will thicken it with a little bit of potato starch or corn starch. Dilute it with a little bit of water. Stir it. Okay. I have my herb in there. And the thickening agent. That's it, you can see that it's thickened here. This way, let me taste it. Delicious, dash of salt. I could really use it this way, but there in that recipe to make it just as we did at the Plaza Athénée in Paris, we add a little bit of that at the end, whipped cream. This is a rich dish, but beautiful. That's it. Maybe a dash of pecorino or parmesan, a little dash, and that's it. That's going to go into the broiler. And here is my stuffed artichoke with a sliced mushroom, deglazed with cognac, a beautiful old classic dish. Full and tender. Can't wait to taste it. Absolutely wonderful. From a real classic French dishes, now let's do a real American dish with corn, you know. I love corn. And I'm going to do a type of corn tempura here. I'll start with the dough, and I'm doing 2/3 of a cup, that's 1/3, of flour. That's it. 1 egg, maybe half a teaspoon or so of baking powder, and soda water. You know, when you do a batter, and if you want it without lump, whatever liquid you put in it, just put a little bit of it at the beginning so that as you stir it, as I'm doing here, the batter is still thick enough so that the thread of the whisk can go through like this and liquefy any lump. What I'm saying is that if I put all of the liquid in it, then it turned around and you have nice little dumpling all over the place, which you really don't want to. So I will put more, I like it pretty liquid here. Yeah, that look about right. And now the corn. The way of cutting the corn. See, I tend to cut my corn this way with a knife. People tend to use the knife here flat, and it's hard to cut, and it's not because people are using 1 inch right here from the center of the knife. From that position, if you turn here, and if you start here and finish there, then you're using the knife the way you should be using the knife. Just like when you're slicing a piece of bread, you don't crush it, you slice it. So that's one way of doing it. Of course, the fresher the corn just out of the field, when they're really sweet and all that, is the best. Another maybe easier way to do, you can cut it in half, like that, or break it in half actually like this, and put your, using on the table like this, and cut it this way. All of that goes in there. So here, see, you do quite a bunch of different fritters with that. I can probably do 3, maybe even 4 at the time. So this will take a couple of minutes on each side. Okay, so let's see this now. You can see that they are really crisp. Here we are. So they hold together quite well. You don't really have to worry about them breaking. And then again, a good 2-3 minutes on each side, and then you can put them on your wire rack. You can hear it, you know, really nice and hard and crisp. And that's what you want. If you really want to be fancy, we can serve it with caviar. I have 5 different types of American caviar here. This is the whitefish caviar. This is a salmon caviar. And if you could look very close to it, you would see that inside each of those grains of caviar, there is a red dot. That's one of the best. The red dot is the chum caviar, and considered the best. This is a trout caviar, which is very, very elegant too. It's kind of newer. And I have 2 caviar. The only thing which can really be called caviar has to be from the sturgeon. And here I have a paddlefish, that's from the Mississippi River, and this is a white sturgeon, and this is raised. So, you know, one way of doing that, we can use this one here. I think I would take this one because that's probably the best for me, and maybe a bit of sour cream first. Take a little bit of sour cream in the center of this. No. And right away, of course, that's going to change certainly the price of your corn tempura here. Another way of doing it, which is really nice too, is maybe with a nice piece of smoked salmon on top of it like this. And this would be a very elegant type of hors d'oeuvre that you would serve with your corn tempura, you know. We had a vegetable feast today. And I always love it. You know, go to your local market or your farmer's market, supermarket, buy what's in season. It's always less expensive, it always has more taste, and nutritionally it's better for you. Often with very simple ingredients, you can do great dish that the family is going to love. And sometimes, you know, adding a bit of caviar or something else, you can bring it to something very, very elegant. Cook the thing you love. Happy cooking.
Visit the website at kqed.org/Jacques Pepin to learn more about Jacques. You can watch the shows online, view clips of Jacques in the kitchen, print more than 50 recipes, and see photos from behind the scenes. Essential Pepin is the collection of Jacques' favorite recipes from more than 60 years in the kitchen. The book includes all the recipes in the series, along with 600 more and a searchable DVD. It's $40 plus shipping. To order, call 800-937-5387 or go to the web address below. Or you can order the complete series of all 26 shows on DVD for $39.99 plus shipping. Essential Pepin is made possible by
KitchenAid, for the way it's made. Proudly celebrating 10 years of Cook for the Cure to support the fight against breast cancer.
And by C. Donatello Winery, producing Pinot Noir and Chardonnay from Sonoma's Russian River Valley. C. Donatello Winery is a proud supporter of Jacques Pepin. And by
OXO Good Grips. OXO, tools you hold on to.
Happy cooking!